Hey guys, this is Tuesday Holmes of Those Two Guys, and we're just rolling on ahead with another video for Zelda month. Today I'm going to talk about the 6 hardest bosses slash mini-bosses from the Zelda series. Before I get started, I feel like I need to state the obvious. Guys, this list is just my own opinion, but if you disagree with any of my choices, I will be more than happy to argue with you down in the comments section. If you like these kind of videos, please just click that subscribe button now before we even get started. It only takes a second and it will motivate us to keep making these videos even though hardly anyone is watching them. So without further ado, let's jump into the list of the 6 hardest bosses from the Zelda series. Number 6. Moldorm, A Link to the Past. A Link to the Past is often thought of as the first great Zelda game. The new capabilities of the Super Nintendo really allowed a world with a lot more depth than the 2 previous games in the series. With this came a swath of new and challenging bosses and enemies. From this cast of characters, one boss really stands out from the crowd, and that boss is Moldorm. While Moldorm is at the bottom of the list for difficulty, he is probably at the top of the list in terms of annoyance. Moldorm is a fast-moving, spiky worm creature that circles around erratically, only leaving the very tip of his tail vulnerable to Link's sword. One wrong hit sends Link flying off the ledge of the arena, knocking him a few floors down. When this happens, Link needs to make his way all the way back up to the top of the tower and completely restart this battle. A Link to the Past is almost 30 years old now, and this is still easily one of the most frustrating fights out of the entire series. Number 5. Gleeok from The Legend of Zelda. I feel like it's important to specify that in the original Legend of Zelda game, the boss fights are sort of recycled in a sense. You'll fight the Gleeok for the first time fairly early in the game, and unless you totally suck, he's pretty easy to defeat. The Gleeok that's going to be a challenge for most players, however, you don't cross paths with all the way until level 8. This is the third and last time Link encounters Gleeok in the original game, and it is by far the hardest. Gleeok, I assume, is some sort of dragon. He has multiple heads. He seems to add one head for every subsequent time you battle him throughout the game. Each of these heads needs to be destroyed, but after Link defeats a head, it doesn't just vanish, it turns into an indestructible floating head that will shoot fireballs at Link until the entire creature has been destroyed. By this last encounter, he will have 3 heads that need to be defeated. It's pretty tough to get through this fight without losing a great deal of health. Number 4. Mos Koshia from Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild was definitely a breath of fresh air into a nearly 4-decade spanning game series. Considered by many to be the greatest Zelda of all time, Breath of the Wild answered the prayers that so many fans of the series had been asking for quite a while. An open-world concept Zelda game. The results speak for themselves. This major expansion of the universe opened up opportunities for loads of new and challenging boss enemies. The boss that we've chosen from this game is the infamous Mos Koshia, only available in the Champion's Ballad DLC pack. Mos Koshia is a Sheikah monk of an intimidating stature. He boasts many annoying attacks, including teleporting above Link and striking him with his sword or shooting him with a bow. This boss is without a doubt one of the most annoying boss battles in the entire series. Number 3. Shadow Link from Link's Adventure and Ocarina of Time. Shadow Link is one of my all-time favorite enemies from the series. Shadow Link's trademark is that he mirrors your attacks, doing the same exact move that you do at the exact same time. This makes it very difficult to land a blow on this Zelda boss. Shadow Link appears as the mini-boss of the Water Temple in The Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. Ocarina of Time was the first video game I ever actually owned, and I've played through this game countless times. In my humble opinion, Shadow Link is the single most difficult enemy in the game, and it only adds insult to injury that he is found in what is possibly the most difficult dungeon in the entire series. Anyway, the Shadow Link that ranks on our list today is not the Shadow Link from Ocarina of Time, but is in fact the Shadow Link from the greatest Zelda game ever made, Zelda 2: Link's Adventure for the NES. Shadow Link is the very last boss in the game. To make things worse, Shadow Link must be battled directly after another, separate, unreasonably challenging boss fight. As stated before, Shadow Link directly mirrors the controls you input. With Zelda 2 mechanics, this makes the boss fight nearly impossible to complete with any dignity. Your best bet in this fight is to duck into the corner and slash wildly until Shadow Link kills himself on your sword. Number 2. Gramps from A Link Between Worlds. This game is thought of as a spiritual successor to the Super Nintendo hit A Link to the Past, and that sentiment shines through clearly. In this handheld adventure, Link will come across a character simply called Gramps. There are theories that this interesting character is even hinted to be an incarnation of an old Link, the hero from A Link to the Past himself. But that's a video for another day. Gramps is one of the few secret bosses in the entire series, and he can only be challenged after Link obtains all 50 challenge medals. Gramps is stacked to say the least. He has every item, he has fully upgraded equipment, 20 hearts, and has attacks that can deal akin to 32 hearts worth of damage in a single blow. Gramps is truly a Zelda boss to be revered. Number 1. The Thunderbird from Link's Adventure. I always get strange looks in my direction when I tell people that my favorite Zelda game is Zelda 2, Link's Adventure. This game has a long-standing reputation for being notoriously difficult. The second to last boss in this titan of an NES cartridge is the legendary Thunderbird. To be fair, part of what makes this boss fight so difficult is the fact that you must traverse through some ridiculously tough areas just to reach him, and by that point you'll be lucky if you even have enough health or even one full life to spare battling this horrible bird. If you happen to make it this far, I hope you brought the spell that is required to even make him vulnerable to your attacks, because they don't tell you about that in advance. And that's our list. Thanks for watching the 6 hardest boss fights from the Zelda series. Do you agree with our list? Are there enemies that you think should have been included in this list? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please just subscribe. Watching that subscriber count go up will motivate us to make more content like this. Happy Zelda Month!